So I'm actually going to ask Mindy to come up. She's going to share a few words with us, and then I'm going to be able to close this incredible conference.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for staying through till the end of the conference. I'm going to mainly stand here to make a few announcements and thank people, but I did want to just share a couple of thoughts about my experience here. I'm thrilled with how the conference has gone this year, and my mind is full and my heart is full. I think because of what Leon said, which is that so many people here spoke from the heart. And that is not something that I have experienced very much at academic conferences, which I go to very frequently. I end the conferences very drained and exhausted and just want to go to a cave somewhere for a few days. But this is a very, very invigorating experience, and so I'm filled with love and hope for the future. And so I would like to first thank the Planning Committee, which I was extremely privileged to chair, and a wonderful group of people who you all know, they're listed in the program, who gave freely of their time to help put this program together. I'd like to thank the sponsors, in particular the Shakopee, Budwaka, and Sioux community, and my colleagues at the University of Minnesota Healthy Food, Healthy Lives Institute, who organized the conference, and the Minnesota Department of Human Services for being a Diamond sponsor. I would like to thank all of the speakers and the moderators who did such an incredible job this year. You know, I was kind of anxious. I was worried this year because last year I thought was a really, really amazing experience. The conference was a really incredible experience, and I thought, how are we going to not just even top that, but how are we going to even match that? And I feel like we really did. And we had some different things. It wasn't a repeat. It's never a repeat. And when certain messages are repeated, it's because they need to be. But the experience feels wonderful and not repetitive and sort of same old, same old. And I thank the speakers and the moderators for coming and sharing your wisdom with us. And I especially want to thank a few speakers who were invited at the very last minute, and you know who you are, and you managed to arrange things so that you could come. I'd like to thank all the people who donated door prizes, many from the Planning Committee, and many of the attendees just sort of during the conference came up and put some prizes, put some things down to give away, and that hasn't happened before, to my knowledge, so that was really extraordinary. I'd like to thank the Mystic Lake staff who helped support the conference, all the volunteers. We have a lot of volunteers who helped out at the conference. I'd like to thank Stage Time Productions, who helped make sure everything ran smoothly. They ran the production of the conference, all the tech work, etc. And of course, I would like to thank all of you, all of the attendees. You are the ones who make the conference what it is. All the networking, all the friendship creations, all the community building and the conversations, that's what creates the rich experience. That's our conference. And finally, I have a couple of more things to say after this, but I would like us to give a round of applause to Abigail Echohawk, who is an MC extraordinaire, and if she wasn't so good at the work she does, I would say she really should quit her job and just do this full time because of how amazing and fantastic she is. I want to make sure that you all know that videos of the plenary talks will be posted on the conference website in, I hope, a few weeks or a month, as soon as they have to get edited and then we have to upload them. But But that will be done maybe in the next month. We will have a final report written, which will be done over the next few months, and we will send you emails when those two things are done so that you can go to and download the report and the videos. You can watch the videos, use them in your classes if you teach, use them with your communities. This information is freely accessible to anybody who wants it. One thing that's really important is that we are going to send you an evaluation survey via email next week. Now, I have to admit, I hate getting surveys, and I sometimes just delete them because I can't cope because I just have so many emails. But this is actually really important. We need your feedback. We need to know how you experienced the conference, what you thought. We'll make it as painless as possible with, if you don't want to write any text, you don't have to, but we'll have room for text. You can just kind of check boxes. But we really ask that you take 5 minutes to fill out this evaluation survey so that we can have an idea of how we did and what we can do better next time. So please, 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 when you see that email about the evaluation, fill it out. And if you have any thoughts that you want to communicate to me directly, just email me. And anything that you'd like to, it would be great. And that will help us, as I said, shape future events. We are planning tentatively a 5th conference for September 20th to 23rd, 2020, and we expect to notify you probably in November about the plans for that. So we'll know more within the next month or two about that. One of the things the last thing I wanted to mention is that it's really important that we try to document the impact of this conference for sustainability. If we want to continue having it and we need to raise funds, it would be very nice if we could have some kind of a document that has information on it that describes what the impact is. And I don't really know how to do that because it's not like we can count numbers and get data very easily. Some we can, but there are some outcomes like relationship building and partnerships that are formed because of this conference that we need to know about. So I don't think that we'll have time today, but if any of you have any thoughts about how we might go about documenting the impact, the many, many impacts of this conference and why it's so important, I would really appreciate an email from you to just let me know and we can have a conversation or whatever. So thank you so much. Thank you for coming. I had a fantastic time. I learned so much. And now I'm going to turn the podium back to Abigail to give her closing remarks.
So we are so fortunate today to have back with us Janice Bad Moccasin, who is going to do the closing prayer for us. And she does need to leave here to get back to her job, to take care of her responsibilities. So I'm actually going to ask her to come up and do the closing prayer. We'll do a couple of fun things after the closing prayer, and I'll just say a few things. I promise it'll be short and sweet. So if you'll stick around after the closing prayer. But to have the incredible elders that work and live here on this land from the Mdewakanton and Shakopee community, we are so blessed to be able to have all of the folks who have come in, and especially for you to come in for your second time. We really appreciate you offering us this closing prayer.
Nina Pidamayaya, Washte Wopida Taka. I want to apologize speaking before my elders. I just caught the last of the panel discussion. So with respect to that, I'm honored to provide a prayer. Granted, I have to dash out of here, but I want to thank you for including prayer. It's very, very important. It grounds us because we're going to talk about our elders and our spiritual ways and our traditions. And I was taught by my elders that that's our way of asking for permission. Somebody gave tobacco for prayers, and that was a reciprocal ask for the spirits, that we would share this sacred knowledge and wisdom that comes from our elders, and that we would always do that out of respect and permission. I'm going to pray with you today in Dakota language and convey. I know that a lot of you have learned a lot of knowledge, and you know, the great need and purpose for our people have really filled our hearts with new, old knowledge. So I thank all of you for your movement of prayer for the people. Tungashira wakantaka unchimaka makatakia tate topa wamakashka daku wakashkashka wopidatunka petu kinde washte chante washte na petuyuza biye mitaku ye obwanikde che chuakia ye tungashira wakantaka wo wakaki henani tawa tungashira wakantaka mitaku ye waniwachi tungashira wakantaka wo pida tunka wo taku ye dina dawashte nina pidamiyaya. Creator above Unchima Ka, Grandmother Earth, we walk upon the four corners of the universe and to the animal nations, including us two-leggeds, Ikjea, Wiak, Wichasha, Oyatiki. We ask you to look upon us and give us blessings today. May our homes and our relatives be in a good way as we left them, as we travel home today. We pray and thank you for coming and visiting Shakopee, Midwakaton Sioux community, the Bede Oyati. We thank you. We send blessings with all of you today with good hearts and a handshake. And Doshta Kewachia Kikde, we shall see you again. Ihu. Mitakuye Owasi.
All right, so we are closing up, and I'm actually going to ask, I can't see anybody right now. We can lift the lights again. For the guy who came out to me, or was chatted with me this morning about the conference you're going to next week in Oneida, are you still in here? I'd love for you to come up and share just really quickly what you told me about how you were feeling after the days here at the conference. So if you tell me a story, which so many people have told me stories the last couple days, some of them are too good to not share. So this was such a beautiful one. I just wanted to ask you to come and just share it really briefly about what you talked about how you were feeling when you first coming, and then what you were thinking when you're sitting at your table.
I'm very nervous. I was not expecting this. Akwe nuisawank, antuantuant, inuaspo, tinap, shinakap. So my name is Jason Cofield. My tribal name is Roaring Bull, and it actually translates to Roaring Beast. I'm in the Turtle Clan. And my grandfather knew that I would be a storyteller. So the roaring bull part was, or the roaring beast, was I cried a lot, and I was always known. So what happened was, since I've been at this conference, this is my first conference, as I said. I grew up on a reservation, but my mom went to many conferences, and I always heard about these conferences. And she worked off reservation in a lot of cities. We moved a lot. Philadelphia, Denver, just big cities that had Native American communities but didn't necessarily have a reservation there or a tribe there. So she would help them with jobs and find education. So while I was sitting here, I sat at a table. I've sat at the same table every day, and I've had different people sit down. It was great because I got to meet new people. And so there were ladies from Arizona that were there, and we were talking about where we come from. And I said, well, I'm from Shinnecock. It's in New York. And there was an elder who I hope is still here, so I can see her before I leave, Elder Lenore from Minnesota. She is an incredible woman. I spent 10 minutes with her, 15 minutes with her on a bus ride here. And I told her, I said, you know, this is amazing. You told me stories that my grandmother told me. And we're not from the same area. I'm a coastal native. We live on the water. You live out here in the plains. And yet you told me the same things that my grandparents taught me. And so we're passionate people. So I'm going to try to hold it in just a little bit. While I've been here, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, I'm taking notes as I go. And as I was taking notes, I wrote to myself, I'm healing. And so a part of that was we fight on the East Coast to let people know that we're still here. We're still here. I understand that the buffalo is important to you out here in the West. The whale is important to my people. You guys told a story about the buffalo. And I'll just close with this real quick. I'm sorry that I'm taking so much time. If there are East Coast natives that are in this room today, we are the buffalo. We're the keepers of the Eastern Gate. And the wampio. The wampio is the white part of the wampum that I wear. The wampio is who came here. And they invaded our land. And we welcomed them. We taught them how to eat. We taught them how to live off of the land. And we were mistreated. Sean was up here the other day and he put up a map and he said, you know, I grew up in North Dakota or South Dakota, and he showed a map of how the wampio moved across this land. And I thought to myself, wow, we had 150 to 200 years of contact before they even made it to his people. And so when I say that we are the buffalo, we are the ones that turned our faces into this storm of people that came here to take our land, to take our languages away from us, to take our foods away from us. And I've only been working for my tribe for 6 weeks. This is a tremendous eye-opener for me. To Boudinais.
Just wanted to give you a gift in honor of this day. We are a people of story, and that is where our strength lies. That's where our knowledge is, and that's how it will continue. So thank you for sharing your gift of story with us and with me earlier. And I'm going to close with a story of my own, because when he came and shared with me this morning, I was thinking, what could I possibly say about this incredible conference that hasn't been said by these elders, by the haka that just happened, by all of the conversations that you've had on your tables. And it really is about, when he told me, he said, I wrote, I'm healing. And that is the difference I think this conference is really doing, not only in Indian country, but in thinking about how we talk about academic research, ecological, indigenous knowledge, indigenous research, culturally rigorous approaches to ensuring that our people are truly not just represented, but leading everything. And so I'm going to close with just a short story associated with what he just spoke about. My people, like his, have lived in a trauma from all of the things that have attempted to cut us off. And it always makes me think about this ceremony that we have that is around when our loved ones pass on. And in my community, when our loved ones pass on, we spend 3 days with them. 3 beautiful days, because we know that their spirit is with us still. And on that first day, it's the saddest day you've ever experienced. And I hold a distinction in our family that I'm the one who cuts everybody's hair on that first day as we stand around a fire and we burn it. And we smear those ashes on our faces and we weep and we cry and we yell and we just are in grief. Absolute grief. And that's for the family in day one. On the second day of that ceremony, we come together because everybody else has come to honor our loved one. And as a family, we are not doing that wild crying anymore. We've wiped the ashes off of our face and we serve everybody who comes with tea, with traditional foods, with everything that we have. We serve the people. That's day 2. And on day 3, we all gather and we sing and we dance, and our food is different. And we've been singing the same song the entire time. That first song is sad. That second song is service. That third song and that third day is joy and celebration. And I think about this ceremony very often because it relates to that historical trauma. And for many days and many years, I myself and many of our people who are struggling are still in day 1. And that deep grief of all of the things that he just shared about, of all of the things that attempted to take away who we are. And we've been, and some of our people are still in day 1. All of you here came today and came the last few days as part of day 2. To move out of that grief, to recognize that it happened, we have to acknowledge the trauma to move forward. But you are here in service to your people. You are in day 2. And what happened in different places, whether it was the haka, it was this story, it was a conversation that Miriam had with somebody in a hot tub. That's why she won that prize. And that night up in the hot tub here is that we have moved into celebration and into strength. Because we were always a people who knew how to grieve and knew how to heal. So that's what I got out of this conference, was watching the little pieces of healing from all of the stories that every one of you shared with me, that you shared with each other, that you're going to share with your family and your friends as we heal. And we recognize that many of our people who are still in that deep time of grief, we have the opportunity to serve them, to move them into those other days so that they can reach day 3. So I think about my sons often when I'm traveling, and my oldest son, because I travel pretty often for work. And we were talking, and I told him, I said, I always tease them. I was like, I love you more, and I love you so much. Like, I love you like I love air, like I love water. So it's kind of like this joke. And he told me, he said, we were doing this, and I thought I won. And he said to me, he said, Mom, I have loved you since I was a star in the sky, and the Creator asked me, who wants to go be Mama Echo Hawk's little boy? And I said, me, me, me. And the Creator sent me to you, and I chose you. It's like, dang, kid. He won, obviously. But that's where our children are being born into, the knowledge of where they come from, because I am Pawnee. I came from the stars. He is Pawnee. He came from the stars, and he knows where he comes from. And those children, those babies, and in my tradition, those stars chose us to be the healing. So go into your communities, be the healing you were always meant to be. Bring your stories, bring your strength. Bring the knowledge and the wisdom and the connections that you made here. And do your evaluation, because it's indigenous practice. So that we can keep healing together. So thank you for allowing me to spend the time with you. I'm so honored to have been able to do that. And go home and enjoy your trip and hug your family members and make good connections. So thank you for allowing me to be here with you. Have a good trip home.